But yeah, I'm gonna go run around town, see what's open. It's after Christmas, so some of the stores should be open, but we need to go to Napa and grab a couple parts. Well, the weed shop is open. Looks like the owner pulled up in the Subaru, and you got to have the weed shops open, right? So my guess is AutoZone ought to be open as well. So far it doesn't look like anything's really open. There's one gas station that's open right now, and that weed shop that I saw. And again, this is rare for us, so I guarantee you everybody's just freaking out, doesn't want to drive. Half the people don't know how to drive in the snow out here. So I don't think Napa's going to be open. I guess I could have called them, but what fun would that be? You know, might as well drive out there and scout it out ourselves. But we might be able to get working on the engine without Napa today. We'll see if we can get around it. Well, coffee shops are open, you know, you got to. AutoZone is closed. But there is a couple rigs there, so they might be opening up a little later. It's only 8 o'clock. Yeah, Napa is closed, at least right now. That's a bummer. This is under the bridge where there's no snow. Tune 3. Two-wheel drive is so much fun. The garage is kind of a flipping mess. I've been kind of just hustling and getting this all put together. It's pretty much ready to get dropped in. As for the transmission side, I ordered a new pilot bushing OEM and then a new throwout bearing as well. We're going to be throwing in the stock transmission, sitting right up there. So we're going to throw in the stock transmission. It's not ideal for my setup, but what I think I'm going to do is in the meantime buy an Accord casing and build a separate transmission. I'd like to get this motor dropped in and start the braking process on it. We're not going to run crazy amount of boost on it for a while, and in the meantime get the other transmission built, kind of ready to take on some real horsepower. Alright, so it's been a couple days. I didn't actually get to putting the motor in. I did have my brother come over and we just ended up bullshitting. He came over to help me drop it in, but we just kind of hung out. I decided to clean the garage for like the last couple days, start organizing some of my tools, just getting some of my sockets together. I got a couple little organizing trays. Realize how much more I need to buy to fill it. I do have this DeWalt set right here, and this thing is badass. My pops actually got that for me, I think on like my 17th birthday, and I'm 26 now. And I'm only missing like three tools out of there. So this thing's got just about everything. It's like the 280 piece or something. It's a pretty badass little tool set. If you guys are looking into getting into wrenching, I would recommend buying that kit. Also had this display case all dirty and sitting around, and I finally got to cleaning it up and threw some of my old parts in there. I think it looks pretty badass. Kind of something to just look at and bullshit, when you're sitting in here drinking and shit. Got some of the roasted pistons in there. There's some Civic pistons in there, Subaru, the TSX obviously. I think it looks pretty neat. The transmission, we got that thing pressure washed. It's pretty dirty. now it's fairly clean. And I think I decided to possibly just buy a wrecked cord off the auction for like whatever. If I win it for like a grand or something, I'll end up selling the block just so I can pull the casing out and build it. Because everywhere else I'm looking, shit's kind of ridiculously priced. So I think I can just buy one off the auction. I've already got the engine lift brought up to the motor. I've got it attached. Man, I made this little harness deal. It's just a tow hook on either side, or I guess that's a hook from a ratchet strap, and 4 strands of mule tape, and each strand is like rated for like 1,200 pounds. It ain't going nowhere. Reason I did go with rope instead of chain, and you could use chain, just throw a rag like under your valve cover or whatever, so it doesn't scratch the crap out of your motor, and or throw on a temporary valve cover. And I've got 2 old valve covers sitting around, so I could have done that, but I got this thing already sealed and seated, just because I think when the motor's out, it's a bit easier to have everything super clean, 100% oil free, to throw the valve cover on instead of it being in the motor. But it's just as easy, honestly. If you guys want to throw it in with an old valve cover and using a chain, no biggie. This is just what I went with. But I've got a bolt placed in right here on the back side of the motor, and I'm going to try to, when I'm jacking it up, is keep this hook right here on the back side of the bolt, just so I don't bend it. I don't think this is a bolt that I'm actually using on this motor. It's just a bolt that fit. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep it towards the back side just so it doesn't bend it. And over on this side, I've just got this hook looped or hooked right under the motor mount. There's kind of a little area here, little lip. You can get in there. And this is how I've lifted it each time, and it works for me. So as for the clutch that we're going to be running on this setup, and again, remember guys, we are just breaking the motor in right now. We are getting a new transmission placed into this car shortly after. I'm actually working on coming up with an Accord casing right now. But that's still going to be a ways out because I'm not sure what gear set and whatnot I'm going to go with. But anyways, I've got like 4 different clutches sitting around here. And the one that's in the best condition right now is this, I believe this is an XTD, yep. XTD Stage 4 unsprung clutch. It's a 6-puck. Not the safest on your transmission, especially for daily driving. I actually really enjoyed this clutch. It had a really like sporty feel to it. If that makes any sense. It took some getting used to, but I absolutely loved it. I had quite a bit of people drive my car, and they all stalled it each time, so I guess in a sense that's somewhat of an anti-theft system, but that's kind of a stupid reason to buy this clutch. I ran it for about 4 months and did some really hard flipping poles in it, so it's got a little bit of heat marks on it. Nothing crazy. Kind of expected for a unsprung clutch. As for the wear on the actual pads, it's not terrible for 4 months of abuse. But this is a really cheap clutch. I think on the new transmission, I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to go with, but I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of like a twin disc or something. Alright, so we are ready to finally get the motor put into the car. Got it all set up, and got all our hoses and harnesses out of the way. Just tucked everything down. Cables you can zip tie them here. Make sure you move everything. I already got the fuel line routed through, obviously. That's tucked out of the way. Might have to finagle this out of the way, so I might need to unscrew this just so we can wiggle it. But we've got the front and back motor mounts on, and then the side one. And this one I just got half of it mounted. And then this is going to go on after. So we got all our bolts and crap laid out here, and I gotta start jacking it up and getting it in here. So when you are lowering it, you want to angle this backside down first, so you get past all this crap right here. And we've got it sitting on the front engine mount right now. I'm going to put a bolt into there. The bottom mounts are sort of guided in right now. They are kind of still up in the air. That backside's got to go down a hair more. But we'll put a bolt in here, finish lowering it so we can put that bolt on, and while we're lowering it, we're going to get these two motor mounts on the, or transmission mounts in, and then we will have to jack this side back up and put this bolt in. Alright, so now that it's sitting on the motor mounts, pretty much that's all you need the lift for. While I was actually on the lift, I was able to just lift this end right here with my hand and get that bolt in there, and that's torqued down. The back two, well, the back one and the front one, they're torqued down. I gotta raise the car up and get to the bottom two on the transmission, and then obviously the front and the back get a cap on them, which this, and then we've got to put this one on as well. But I think that's where I'm going to leave the video off at right now. We're going to go a little more into depth on everything else. A lot of people have been asking how I'm getting everything wired, or run all the coolant lines and all that, and I'll run you guys through all that, but it's just too much to cram in one video. We've got a fair amount of work to do. Obviously we're going to be getting this thing set up for E85, so got to do a little digging around on getting the flex fuel sensor connected, and then the electronic boost controller as well. So I'll probably do a separate video on that. But yeah, this is pretty much all the little stuff from here. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.